Hi everybody, I hope you're all doing well. I hope you're having a beautiful day so far. I realized I got a lot of new subscribers. Welcome. We are happy to have you here. And my other subscribers that have been here from day one, that have been here before, welcome of course. My name is Sister Nastasia Grace. If you're seeing my face for the first time, welcome to Grace. Welcome to the Nastasia Grace channel. All right. I pray that the Lord blesses you, guide you, protect you and your loved one in both your going out and your coming in. Amen. Alright, so usually I'm in the studio or I'm at home, but I had to do this video because I want to get it out early. It's very interesting what you're about to see and hear, and you know what, I want you to watch it first, and please, as usual, wait for my commentary, because if you've been watching this channel for a while, when you hear her say some things, you will say, oh yes, Nastasia did say that, sis Nas did say that. So watch this video and wait for the commentary.
So the Federal Reserve have announced that America is going to go ahead with the rolling out of their central bank digital currency in 2023 between May and July. This is in the form of an instant payment system, FedNow. It's the infrastructure, the foundational infrastructure necessary for central bank digital currency. There is chatter that this will be based on Ripple XRP technology, but who knows? This is not a conspiracy theory. You have 90% of all the countries around the world working on a central bank digital currency. Central bank digital currency is truly terrifying. It's individual monetary policy. They can dictate where in the economy you spend your money. They can implement immediate interest rates. The government can only get an income from one of two things. One, money creation. Two, taxes. The money creation gig is over and they're moving into taxes. With central bank digital currency, you could be taxed at will, and you will be taxed on absolutely everything. This is surveillance slave coin. This has got to be stopped. The other thing you want to bear in mind, Vice Chair Brainard said the number of businesses and households able to access instant payments will depend on financial service providers making the necessary investments to upgrade to the new payments infrastructure. This will bypass commercial banks. They're not going to be necessary beyond possibly acting as intermediaries or administrators for central banks. That seems like a veiled threat, that if they don't put in the infrastructure, they'll be eradicated. The money that you think you have is in commercial banks, but there is no... A bank deposit is not a legal concept. It's a loan to the bank. And should these banks fail, they have declared that there will not be bailouts, there will be bail-ins, which means that your money will be bailed in insolvency as an asset of the bank. And at best, you'll be given shares of an insolvent bank. If you think that your government can insure you, ask who's insuring the insurers. Only about 1% of this is covered. This cannot proceed. So what can we do? Well, in order to get a central bank digital currency, they're going to need a digital ID first. This is where we say no. They're going to come up with creative ways. It's either going to be through rations to access food and fuel, you'll have to have your digital ID, or perhaps subsidies like they did in Iran with bread, that you can buy as much as you want at $150 a loaf. But if you want the subsidy for it to be a reasonable price, you have to get your digital ID. God knows what they'll come up with, but they'll have something creative, and it will be something that you need, that you have to have. Therefore, you have to consent to the digital ID. This is our feet in the street moment. This is where we have to say no. It's the final hurdle for them before we move into this slave surveillance system. Other than that, what can we do? Well, who do we owe money to? It's the central banks who create money out of nothing. It's the commercial banks who create money out of nothing. The IMF create money out of nothing and loan it to countries and then own the countries. So instead of us being screwed over by the banks, everything's built. So why don't we just get together and screw over the banks and go down the Lincoln Greenback path and create our own monetary system? Why are we ever borrowing monies? Why are governments borrowing monies from banks that created out of nothing? Lincoln figured this out. He died for it. So that's our options. But be careful. If your money's in the bank, it's not your money, it's the bank's money.
All right, so you guys just watched that video, all right, and you heard everything that she basically made you aware of if you were not aware of it, right? Let's talk about this digital system, and it is very true and it's very evident that that is actually happening. Let me zone in on my country, Jamaica. There is this NIDS, National Identification System, right? That they're trying to put in place, and that would be the system for us, which is the digital identity, digital everything in one place, and they're trying to sell it like, everything would be in one, and you won't have to worry about going home if you're at the tax office, or sometime you leave something, you left your TRN or you left a document or something, you would no longer need to do that, because everything, you would have everything. I think it's still a card, right? One card with it's everything. Your driver's license, that one card would just be everything. You'd use it to vote, you use it to identify yourself, use it to do business, everything. And before I got all the revelations, or you would say, my mind was emancipated, and we started to know the truth of what's going on, I was like, well, it's just another thing. We have voters ID, we have this, have that. But knowing what they plan to do in the long run has now completely changed it. From the beginning of them starting, even coming out with this idea, believers, children of God, the Christian fraternity, a Christian family body was never, in Jamaica, was never agreeing to it. They're not having it, they're not agreeing to it, right? And people say, it's not the market, it is not. But what people don't understand is that these things are predecessors. If you don't have these things, right, then there's no way that we can go into the mark of the beast or into the new world order. So these things have to actually happen before. So you can say, it's not it, so it's fine, right? You can't just say, it's not it, so it's fine. The thing about it is, know, however, that either way, what you say or choose is going to happen. It's going to come into place, right? They're just acting like they need your permission. They don't, right? It's going to come into place, but it's for you to choose if you're going to be a part. Be a part of it or not, right? It's for you to choose if you're going to be a part of it or not. But it is going to happen, because the book has to be fulfilled and everything has to be rolled out. There has to be a one world government, one world religion for all of this to pan out, right? So it's not if they can come with the needs, they can. But as our sister says, it's you and I, or personal decision if we're going to partake in it or not, right? So that is something that you have to decide. In each country, this is happening in America, this is happening in Canada, this is happening in every single country. When you see it reach down to little old Jamaica here, and then even to say little old Jamaica, listen, Jamaica is doing some things, is high up in there. Don't get it twisted. The other day I saw a clip of some summit, And our prime minister was sitting amongst Canada and those big shots, right? He was right beside the Canadian prime minister right now. He was right beside him and those people, and he's pushing it. He's pushing the agenda. So don't feel like Jamaica will be the last to get on board with these things. We're already on board, right? So know that each person, right, will be responsible for if they take on to this NIDS or whichever country you're on, the national identification system or not, right? Each person will have to fight and war and for their own salvation, right? With fear and trembling for their own salvation, right? That's why the Lord had to have the age of accountability, because, you know, sadly enough, some children they don't even know the truth. They don't know what's happening, and their parents are lost, and that's what's happened, right? So they won't be judged for things that their parents did because they're not accountable. They don't know. They haven't reached that age yet